Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of This Is Our Life. And I have a Maggie cat in my lap. And Maggie's looking up at the monitor. Okay, this video is on bugging out. This video is on bug out bags. I'm not going to show you our bug out bag in this video. That's not the point of the video. The point is to try and get across why a bug out bag, why bug out, who, the situation, and so forth. A lot of people think, well, it's you crazy preppers that are into bugging out, and actually what a bug out bag is for an emergency. It doesn't have to be martial law or anything like that. Hurricane Katrina, there were more places than just Nolans that were hit by Katrina. The Northridge earthquake, even the Rodney King riots, the 1900 hurricane in Galveston, the eruption of Mount St. Helens. These are all situations where a person might bug out. Bugging out is not some paranoid, crazy prepper thing. I mean, it can be, it is, but it's also, frankly, common sense. I guess, having lived all over the world, I've experienced things that most Americans will probably never experience. I mean, I remember when typhoons would hit Okinawa, we would fill up our sinks, we would fill up our bathtubs with water because you didn't know when you were going to get water again. How some of those people survived the typhoons, considering the structures they lived in, was beyond me. It is beyond me. I would think that it would just, some of those structures would just fly away or get drug out into the ocean. So, bugging out, all it is a safety precaution for any kind of an emergency. If you think, I mean, let's just take Katrina as an example. People loaded up their cars and took off, and what happened? A lot of them were still stuck in the middle of the storm because of the traffic jam. Others, thankfully, got out of the area, but then they were stuck for a week on some highway running out of gas because the cars were just sitting there. Nobody was moving. It's better to already have your kit prepared. That way, if I'm trying to think of what might happen up here. Let's say we had a blizzard and it was going to knock out power, an ice storm. If we knew about it ahead of time, having our bug out bags, all we have to do is take them and throw them in the car and leave. Now, in a blizzard, you really don't want to put your bug out bag on your back and take off into the woods because you're not going anywhere. I don't care if you have cross-country skis. I don't care if you have snowshoes. I seriously doubt you're going anywhere. Not in our environment. If it's a severe enough blizzard, there may be a tree 3 feet in front of you and you're not going to see it. And then you break your nose. And so what? So bugging out is not for the prepper community only. And being a prepper, you could be a prepper and have nothing to do with martial law. Being a prepper, I mean, you can prepare for a natural disaster. You can prepare for hurricanes, typhoons, a bad tornado coming through, blizzards, earthquakes. 9/11. 9/11 is a perfect example. You wanted to get out of the area, right? Well, are you going to just walk out? Walk out and you have absolutely nothing with you? Where's your food? Where's your water? Where's your medicine? Where's your shelter? And if you have it in your vehicle, if you have it in your office, if you have it somewhere in your home where you can just grab it and run, hey, there you go. That's why if you watch a lot of videos here on YouTube, people have go bags and things like that that are not their bug out bag. It's just their get home bag. That's what's going to help them get to where their bug out bag is, where their bug out kit is. So in those little bags tend to be lighter. They're smaller. Um, if let's say Ian Bernard in Keene, if he sees you walking down the road with a big bag on your back and all that, he's gonna say, well, you probably have food and medicine and drugs. He'd probably be keen into that. But if he just sees you walking down the road and doesn't really notice that you have a bag with you, uh, because it's small, it's unintrusive, he might be more likely to just let you continue walking by. But if he sees you with a big bag on your back, he might kill you to get your stuff or hold you up at gunpoint to get your stuff. So, and yeah, I honestly think he would do that. Same with Garrett and most of the other brown shirts. But a bug out bag, a bug out kit is not a martial law kit. It's a kit to deal with any sort of emergency. Like I said, earthquakes. I remember I knew somebody who was in California going to university when the Northridge quake hit. It took like a week to get in touch with that person. It turns out, thankfully, the person was safe. That person with some friends had gone from university, taken a motor car to somebody's beach house way out of the area. But all the phone lines were either down or busy. Well, if they would have had a survival kit in the vehicle and they would have broken down somewhere, they would have been better off than if they would not have had that kit, because at least they would have had a few days of food and water, and they would have had a means to filter uh, water they would find out there. Although there's the ocean, and you don't want to be drinking salt water. So creeks, streams. Even if you absolutely had to, I guess you could filter sewer water. But that is definitely something that I would first filter, then boil. But I'd boil that at least 10 minutes. But um, well, actually, this is what I would do. What I'd probably do, I would filter it, then I would boil it, and then I would put a chemical treatment in it if it was really sewer water. I mean, you know, but to have a desalination plant or machine, that takes up a lot of room, and it's definitely not something you can carry on your back. I've seen these things. I've never used one, but I've seen them, and they're not exactly what you would call small. But I'm sure there's a way to desalinize seawater. Other than that, I just don't know how you might do it, unless maybe some sort of evaporation process. Back home in Spain, they would farm salt, and you can even see on Google Satellite to this day where they do that. As you go in and out of my hometown, there's salt farms, and you see these big masses of white. And what they do is they're allowing the water to evaporate, and what it leaves is the salt. Well, if you can do that, well, somehow keeping the evaporated water, like having the evaporated water trapped and then drain into another container. And I don't know if it would take all the salt out. I don't know if it would take enough of the salt out or not, but so being a prepper, having a bug out bag is really a smart idea for anyone and everyone. And that's really all I had to say. And a 33-year-old sleeping with a 16-year-old, in my eyes, that person's a pedophile.